Once upon a time, in a tiny, rickety hovel by the sea, lived a fisher-cat and his wife. Their home was a stinky old shack, and they were very poor. Every morning the fisher-cat would take his little fishing rod, sit by the shore, and stare at the water, hoping for a good catch. One sunny afternoon, he felt a huge tug on his line. He pulled, and finally, a magnificent, golden flounder flopped onto the sand. But this was no ordinary fish. It spoke. "Please, kind fisher-cat, let me go. I am an enchanted prince. If you spare me, I will grant you any wish you desire." The fisher-cat, with his soft heart and wide surprised eyes, quickly unhooked the flounder and let it swim away. He went home empty-pawed and told his wife what had happened. Her eyes, usually dull, lit up with greed. "You foolish cat," she shrieked. "You let him go without asking for anything. Go back and wish for a proper cottage to replace this stinky hovel." The fisher-cat, seeing his wife's furious face, sighed and trudged back to the sea. He called out, and the flounder appeared. He told the fish his wife's wish, and instantly, when he returned home, the hovel was gone, replaced by a lovely, cozy cottage, filled with warmth and the smell of fresh fish. But his wife wasn't satisfied for long. Soon, she sat with a sour pout on her face. "This cottage is too small," she complained. "Go back to the flounder and tell him I want to be a queen in a grand castle." The fisher-cat's ears drooped. He didn't want to bother the flounder again, but his wife's screeching was unbearable. So, he went back to the stormy sea, called for the flounder, and asked for a castle. Poof! He returned to find his wife dressed in silk, sitting on a throne in a massive stone castle. Even this wasn't enough. Her ambition grew wilder. She wanted to be empress, then pope, and finally, she declared, "I want to control the sun and the moon." The fisher-cat, now terrified, begged her to stop, but she wouldn't listen. With a heavy heart, he went to the sea, which was now black and raging with a monstrous storm. He called for the flounder and whispered his wife's final, impossible wish. The flounder simply said, "Go home." The fisher-cat turned back, and the grand castle, the riches, and the power were all gone. There, by the sea, stood the stinky, miserable hovel, just as it was before. And inside, his wife sat, her face a mask of shock and regret. They were back where they started, with nothing but their greed to blame. Remember to be grateful for what you have. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.